Hey everybody, it is Darshelle Lynette, and welcome to a long overdue episode of Chapter Baby J podcast. I am so excited to be here today on Mother's Day, the day that we celebrate the mothers of the world, whether you birth a child directly or you assist in raising a child. We give honor to you today. I am so excited that I am a mother of a wonderful 24-year-old child. She's not a child, obviously, but I'm so excited I got to actually see her today. And I'll get to see her a little bit later. And surprise, my older brother came in from out of town. He's doing some stuff in another city of Oklahoma, and so he stopped by, so I got to see him yesterday. I hadn't seen him in a few years, and so I have talked to him, but I haven't seen him in a few years, and so I was excited about that. So it's been a great Mother's Day. You always have to just be grateful for what you may consider small things, but the small things in life, and some things are major. This for me is just, I am excited about positive things happening. I am praying for all of those that don't have their mothers here, or people who raised them here with them any longer. They're in the cloud of witnesses, and so I am praying with you that God comforts you during this time. But I just wanted to say happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers. Obviously the world couldn't exist without us, and so we celebrate each other today. I am also excited that I actually get to do a video today. I haven't been able to record for various reasons for the last 2 months. So the last video I did was almost 2 months ago, which is crazy, and I kind of almost got really, was like, should I continue to do this? Should I just stop? Because I've already, been on a hiatus for like almost 2 months at this point, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm going to press forward because I said I'm going to stick with it, and I do want to stick with it because I love doing this. I love interacting with everybody through social media at times. I don't do it as much as I used to, but I still love to do it. And I also am excited to be able to share anytime that I can about what's going on in my life, so that hopefully it can help somebody else, go through their lives. If they experience the same thing, it may, give them something to be able to focus on, all of that different type of stuff. Basic reasons that I started the podcast back up again. So I am here. I'm excited. And I actually did get to record a episode last month, but it got messed up, so I couldn't post it. And so it was like, okay, so maybe that wasn't the time for me to do it, so now's the time. So I am pretty much, y'all know I'm looking at my planner and such, so I can stay on topic and such, and not be long-winded with you today. But I had some topics that I had actually written down before, and then so much stuff. Obviously, our world is consistently changing, and things happen every single day that can affect us, that it's just like, wow, where do I begin? But some of the things that I wanted to talk about was like our 2-year update with COVID, because at this point, 2 years ago, I was like actually about a month into being laid off from my job. So my whole status had changed at that point, because I had gone from being fully employed and, insured with healthcare and all of that stuff, to being unemployed and uninsured in the span of a month. And it was like, whoa. And so then you had the entire world trying to get unemployment assistance and stuff like that, those that was working and stuff. And then of course there wasn't, any jobs really available at that time, because everything was closed down. So it was just a lot going on in the world, and I kind of reflected on that and some of the things that I have developed. Sorry y'all, so I was trying to do a style. I'm gonna just push pause on what my other thought was real quick. I was trying to do a style that I had done before, and my heart just was like, nope, it's not going to happen today. So we're just gonna let her do whatever she want to do today. So yeah, it's wherever it is, and it is what it is. So yeah, so that's why I'm her look the way it do it. You know, I'm a rock with it. That's all I can do at this point. So back to COVID. So I actually have was thinking about some of the things that in me that have changed since the pandemic started, and it is still going on, everybody, by the way. It hasn't ended. People are still getting COVID. People are still getting sick from it. So please be aware. Anyway, so wear your mask, wash your hands, social distance, whatever you need to do. Yeah. But thinking about it, I realized that I actually did develop a bit of anxiousness and some anxiety about being, even though I'm a social person, I'm a very social person, I get really anxious sometimes when I'm in a crowd of people now. Like when I'm around people, I still wear my mask, and I am vaccinated, but I still wear my mask pretty much everywhere if I'm going to be in an enclosed area with anybody. So that's just going to be probably my life at this point, until I really feel comfortable being around people without my mask on. If I know that everybody is vaccinated, then I'm, may feel a little bit more at ease about it. But even then, I still don't necessarily know if I would, because of the fact that I actually contracted COVID after I got vaccinated. I am glad I was vaccinated, because I think I talked to you guys about that before when I actually was recovering from it. Had I not got vaccinated, I'm pretty certain I probably would have ended up in the hospital, because it did really attack my lung situation, and I already have asthma. So that just exacerbated me having issues breathing and stuff. And there are even times now where I can go, and some days I wake up and it's like harder for me to breathe still. There are times, other effects that I have realized and kind of noticed since I actually recovered from COVID, some possible lasting effects that I'm hoping that are not possible. It's just taking a while for them to get back to where they were. But other things. So I'm really, because of all of that, I'm very, I get concerned when I have to go into a group of people that I'm not necessarily around all the time and stuff like that. And I'm not, as I said before, even when I got vaccinated, I'm not telling anybody that you have to be vaccinated or not, because that's your choice. You do whatever you want to do. With that, I just know what I'm going to do, based upon your decision. So it's fine. So don't think that, if I know that you're not vaccinated and I decide not to be around you, then, take it as it is. Like, you chose your decision and I'm choosing mine. So don't be thinking I'm trying to act funny style or whatever. It's not. I'm just wanting to protect myself. So that's where it's at. So because of that, also, I've actually limited the places that I actually go. So again, I'm a social person, so I love to go. I would love to go hear live music. I'm in about going to museums and plays and stuff like that. I just like to experience life and things that I've never experienced before. And so now, because of, where we're at in our world, a lot of things I'm like, okay, is this something I really, really want to do? Is this on the bucket list, as they say? Or is this something that I'm just like, I can probably pass on? And being in some settings since COVID has occurred, with going to some of the concerts that I've gone to, I'm just kind of like, I don't know if that is something that I want to continue. Yeah, I'm sorry, it's bothering me now. But that's something that I don't know if I'm going to consistently just go and try to participate in and place myself in, if I know that everybody's not vaccinated, because again, I just don't want to risk getting COVID again and then it being worse than it was when I got it, because it was bad enough then. I felt like I was gonna die, y'all, for real. And I was just like, what in the world? I mean, it was a lot. And so for those that have gotten it and haven't experienced any type of symptoms, thank God for that. Because, I mean, it was not a pleasant experience for me. So, because of that, like I said, I kind of have limited my social gatherings, and even like I just feel better if I'm going somewhere, if I'm outside. I'm like, okay, cool. And even if I'm outside, it's crazy now because even if I'm outside, if I'm in a crowd of people close to me or whatever, like I love going to amusement parks, like love. And I'm saying love, I'm a fanatic. Like we'll drive to different states to go visit a new amusement park. That's me. And so even when I go to an amusement park now, if I'm standing in line, I got my mask on until I get on the ride, and then and sometimes I'll keep it on while I'm even on the ride. And then like, it's just, and if the park is not really busy, then I can walk around the park without my mask on. But if I'm standing in line close to people, I still try to social distance. I don't get up on people, but I've never been a person that invades people's personal space. So that's been me always anyway. So I guess you can kind of say I was social distancing before it was a thing, because I don't like people, unless I invite you, I don't like you in my personal space anyway. And so I don't want to invade yours. So yeah, it's changed me in that way for sure. And then it also has changed, like, well, not really changed, just kind of brought more to the surface that our government really does not care about us, y'all. I mean, if you really think about, I just think about like all of the things that they do, all the monies that they have, and the greed is so excessive that it has overridden like your actual care for life, your humankind and fellow man. You would rather have more money to do whatever than to actually be aware and try to just be helpful to your fellow man. And it's like, okay, let them die. They ain't got the money, well, they don't need to be here. Natural selection type of situation. And it's like, really, this is where we at? And I've always known, obviously, that the government really wasn't necessarily for us, no matter who it is, what they say. It's always kind of like an underlying thing that I've always said, just because of the experiences, I guess, that I've had growing up here in Oklahoma, and how my state government does towards Black people here in the state of Oklahoma. I have always been very leery of the government, local and nationwide. So it's kind of like, okay. But now it's even more, like I said, it just makes me, it's saddening and discouraging, because I'm like, what can we do to actually get this change, to get some people into office that actually do care about each other, that cares about our world, and our nation. I really, like, that's something that has really been really weighing on my heart here lately. And like I said, since I started kind of thinking about the last 2 years, and it was like, wow. So still thinking about it and praying about it and such, and prayerfully I get something that I personally can do. And I hope you kind of think about some of the things that you can do in your local area to just make things more peaceful in your city and state, and help us move forward in a positive light as a nation. We all are mixed, just like a gumbo of different things. And some gumbo is great, and some not so much. And I think right now we're on the not so much section of the gumbo. And so I would want us to all want to go towards being a good taste for everybody, and having enough for everybody. And so it's kind of like, I'm praying and hoping that we all really think about our fellow man and humankind, and try to do things that we know that can push us forward and not take us back. I wanted to congratulate now Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson on her Supreme Court nomination, and getting, getting placed on the bench. I am so excited about that. She was out of 115 justices in the history of the country, and with the Supreme Court being in existence, there have never been any Black women. There's only been 5 women altogether in the 233 history of the court. So there's been 115 justices that have sat on the court. And the Supreme Court was instituted 233 years ago, and there's never been a Black woman. And we are 13% of the population, Black people. And for that to actually just now occur is pretty sad, but I'm excited that it is. But then also, because of what has recently occurred within the last, week, now they're trying to roll back Roe versus Wade. And during service today in church, my pastor was talking about this, and he said something that was it made me think about like what my thoughts and views are about it. He said, and I think he was saying you can be pro-choice and pro-life, and the two can coexist. And I know I've always been that way. I've always been pro-choice and pro-life. I have never been one or the other. And the way if you think about it, if you say that you are pro-life, that means that you are wanting to, and you are caring for life at all stages, not just while it is being developed inside a woman's body, but after that life is here on the outside of her body, you are doing the things that are necessary to make sure that life is sustained. And so when I think about, and I've seen it when this first started coming out about Roe versus Wade possibly being rolled back, where several women were like, how are you trying to roll this back, but you're not providing more health care, you're not providing the social services necessary for a woman to be able to take care of this life if you're saying that she's going to have a child. You're not providing, and I can speak to this, the mental health of a person who has to have a child for whatever reason. If she decides that she doesn't want to and you're making her do it, you're not providing service. There is not insurance that even covers mental health that a woman has to go through, as far as if she experiences postpartum depression or anything like that. None of that is included in healthcare plans. It usually is an addendum to, and some companies offer where you can actually have a couple of sessions with a psychologist or a psychiatrist in regards to that. But there's not anything that's actually out there that is provided by the government to actually combat this. But you're trying to tell somebody that they have to do this. If a woman knows that she is not in position to be able to take care of a life, and you say, okay, she has to have it. If she decides that she wants to give it up for adoption, what happens if she can? Because there's kids now in adoption, in the system, as they call it, waiting to be adopted, and they're not adopted, and you're not taking care of them. Some of those children get placed in homes that are completely unacceptable. They are abused and stuff like that. And so if a woman decides that she doesn't want to have a child for whatever reason, it doesn't matter what her reason it is. It's her body. There is not a law on the books at this point that I know of that a man that tells a man that he can't do something with his body. But you are trying to institute a law to tell women, almost half of the population, that they can't do this. And there's no reason that you're giving it because this is wrong. Who is it wrong for? Because if you're a man, you don't even know what it means to actually have a child or even go through that process. You don't know how that mentally, what that does to you mentally, physically. Some women develop issues when having childbirth. Like if they actually get pregnant and tried to have a child. Some women have lifelong issues. Are you going to actually provide services for that? Like, there are so many avenues that this can spawn from, which it's amazing to me that we are in 2022 and we are in a country that has the audacity to try to tell a woman what she can and cannot do with her body. It is amazing to me, and it's disgusting is what it is. And I'll tell any man that. And I'm a Christian woman. I love God, and you can't tell me, again, still, what I want to do with my body if I choose to do that, And so the fact that you still, and even if you, my thing is, this is what I will say, and I'll move on to my next topic. If you are going to try to say that the government has the right to tell us what we can and cannot do with our bodies, and you decide to roll this back and say that we have to have all these children or whatever, one, in that sense, you need to be providing all the social services necessary to take care of that child. We need to be getting paid equal pay with men, because we are generally the ones that are taking care of the children that men are helping us produce. So we don't do this by ourselves. How about that? But you need to be providing all of that, because the equal pay might actually help us be able to take care of the children that you're saying that we're going to have. You need to provide like daycare, after school care, where if a woman has to work 2 jobs to be able to support herself and this child that you're saying that she now has to have, then you need to be able to provide all of the necessary things that they need to be able to live a real, actual, comfortable life. Not something that they are living below the poverty line, barely making it, barely eating and stuff like that. Provide, and even my pastor brought this up, like when you're saying that the child gets here, but you're not doing anything to stop police killings. Just recently here in Oklahoma, where Quadri Sanders got killed by police in Lawton, Oklahoma. These things are continuously happening. You're not doing anything about the gun laws. You still have the death penalty in certain places. So how are you pro-life at at the starting point, basically, but when the life is here, you're not doing anything to be able to keep it sufficient where it can actually blossom and grow properly, instead of just, okay, well, it's here now, I'm done with it. That doesn't even make good sense. And history, if we're going to look at history and try to roll stuff back, let's look at the reason why this was instituted to begin with. History showed that just because you said that abortions were illegal at that point in time, women still went and got them done. They just were getting them done in shoddy places. And so then you have, at that point, the women that are actually already living, you're putting their lives in danger, because some women are just not going to, they don't care whether you say that they can do it or not. They're going to do it, and they're going to find a way. So if that actually happens, then we're not being pro-life, because we're not taking care of the people who are already here. So that is, again, a lot of concern that is going into that. And I'm trying to figure out the ways that I can myself help and do what I need to do to make sure that this does not get rolled back and we have to live in a world where abortions are illegal, which is crazy. So that's one of my things that I was talking about. I was also on my previous videos going to be talking about the Oscar situation, but I don't even want to get into it because it's been over and done with. And at this point, it's kind of like, okay, I definitely think that it was definitely kind of, for me, blown out of proportion for Will Smith to do what he did. But I have thoughts that I'm just not going to get into because it doesn't really make a difference at the end of the day, because it's happened. There's nothing that we can change. But what I can say is let people think what they want to think about it, and you move on. Don't sit up there and start having no arguments about folks because they have an opinion that does not coincide with yours. So think about that as well. And I think that is all for right now that I have. Oh, I did want to say that keep thinking about or check in to see if you are keeping up with the goals that you set at the beginning of this year. So some people said that they wanted to start, maybe start a business or get some research done about starting a business at the beginning of the year. Have you done that? If you said that you wanted to start a business, where are you at in that plan to get the business started? Keep watch on our goals, because we don't want to get back to the end of the year and then feel like that we've wasted time when we could have done something that we said we wanted to do or wanted to start. So I would say check in on yourself. Make sure that you're keeping up with your goals that you set. Do a mental check-in as well. I usually do a mental check-in like 2 or 3 times a week, just because I know the things that are going on in my life currently are a little bit stressful, and I haven't taken time for myself, so I have to keep watch, so I'm not getting to bad headspace and such like that. So I encourage everybody to do that. Keep watch on your mental health, and check on your friends, check in on everybody. Again, like I said, COVID is still out there, and some people are still, dealing with the effects of that. I know for sure that mentally, I don't think all of us have really kind of thought about what we've experienced these last 2 years, and we're trying to get back to quote unquote normalcy prior to the pandemic. I already know, and I said it many times, and I will continue to say it, we will never get back to where we were before. And honestly, I don't want to go back. Why? Because a lot of things have been opened and uncovered that we need to be addressing and not letting fester. My example with that is if you are wanting to grow a garden and wanted to actually, grow, say for instance, tomatoes or something like that, potatoes, peppers and stuff. So if you start a garden and you want to actually, first thing you have to do is till the ground, put the seeds down and stuff like that, water it, fertilize and all that stuff. Well, at times when you first start a garden, you think you're going to be doing something, and you get in there and dig down deep enough, you see there are some bad places in the ground that can actually ruin the roots of whatever you're actually seeding. And so sometimes you have to take care of that type of stuff. So I think now we have at this point uncovered and started tilling the ground, opening up and digging down deep to see what's underneath, to take care of that stuff that is festering and causing the soil not to be productive, that could actually kill the seed that we plant in the ground. So I think I don't want to go back again to what we had before, because right now we're getting down to the, to the nitty gritty of the stuff and looking at, okay, this has been here. We need to take care of this so it don't kill us. So we're getting down there, digging it out so we can actually be able to plant the seeds of love and acceptance in everywhere that we are, and be able to allow the things to bloom that is going to be blooming of the seeds that we planted. If we plant the seeds of love and acceptance and kindness and stuff, we're going to be able to do that. But if we have something that is festering on the ground in the soil that could actually kill the seed, it's not going to go anywhere, and we're going to be basically where we are. We've done all this work for nothing. And so I don't want to go through and say that we've gone through these last 2 years for nothing, and we've uncovered all this stuff and we haven't taken care of it. So I encourage you to, before you plant your seeds, wherever you're going to plant them, make sure that the ground that you planted it in is productive ground, that the soil is good, it's good temperature and all of that different type of stuff. Make sure you're watching your seeds that you've already planted so they can grow and flourish. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for holding on with me. Again, I'm definitely going to try to be more consistent. Again, my hours have changed at work again. So that's why it's been so difficult for me to be able to record, because I've been trying to find times to be able to do it that is conducive with my scheduling at work and stuff. So yeah, I am so excited that I was able to do this episode today, and hopefully, right now I'm going to say I'm going to try be doing videos at least twice a month until I can get my schedule locked down and get a place where I can actually do the recording that's not disruptive to everybody. And we're going to move forward. We're going to keep at it. I am not going to be discouraged. I hope you're not. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I know it was a little longer than normal, but thank you for hanging in there with me. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. Thank you for everybody that has been supporting me so far. And again, I have some other things that I am working on that I will let you guys know about. Hopefully by the end of this month or the end of next month, I'm planning to have that stuff on lock so I can actually announce it. And so I'm excited about that. So hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I will see you guys next time.